Aloha to the lahui. I don't want to wait too long. I'll wait a couple of seconds. We'll wait 20 seconds, 4 more seconds, and then I will start. Aloha to the lahui. Welcome back to Connect the Dots with Jenny. We are going live. We just found out breaking news. There is a partial verdict reached in the Diddy trial. I must admit, I am surprised. I am so surprised that we've even gotten this much this quickly. On the second day of deliberations, the jury already has a partial verdict on 4 of the charges, but not on the RICO charge. What I do appreciate about that is I appreciate that they are weighing even though I want Diddy to be found guilty, and I think they have proven RICO, I do appreciate the fact that the jury is doing their due diligence and they're not just kind of jumping the gun. They really are weighing this because this particular charge is going to get him life in prison, automatic life in prison. This is huge. So I'm going to start with reading off what is actually going on in the courtroom. I'm watching all this stuff on social media, all these influencers who are there, who are talking about it. I want to go straight to the source. We're going to Inner City Press. He's sitting in the courtroom and he's transcribing everything. Let's read it. 4:19 p.m. This is East Coast time. Don't forget they're in New York. AUSA, which is a prosecution, hands a piece of paper to Agnifilo, who passes it on. Driscoll, who is also Diddy's lawyer, confers with Westmoreland. Westmoreland is Diddy's lawyer too. Sean Combs is not brought into the courtroom from the holding cell. 4:21 p.m. Sean Combs is brought into the courtroom. He stands with his hands in his pockets as Agnifilo speaks to him. His other lawyers, the things I've learned in living, yes, very interesting things. His other lawyers come and huddle around Diddy, and then he sits down. At 4:25, Sean Combs is sitting surrounded by his 8 lawyers who are all talking. He is looking down and his hands is crossed on his lap. At 4:27 p.m., Sean Combs is rubbing his eyes, one with his thumb, the other with his index finger like this. He is probably not liking what he's hearing. To be honest, not even to be honest, nobody's, oh gosh, thanks, Blake. To be honest, everybody's going to hear the verdict at the same time. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. I am reading the actual transcripts of what's happening in the courtroom right now. No, this is about an hour ago. This is an hour ago, you guys. Okay, so where we started at 4:19, that's when Diddy's lawyers, that's when prosecution gives the note. Hi, Denny. That's when prosecution gives the note to Diddy's team, Diddy's lawyers, okay? Then they bring Diddy into the courtroom. It's at 4:21. Diddy's brought in. He stands with his hands in his pockets as Agnifilo is speaking to him. The rest of his lawyers come and huddle around him, and then he sits down. By the way, I'm reading Inner City Press. He is an independent journalist who sits in the courtroom. He is transcribing. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. You guys, you're very sweet, Blake. At 4:25 p.m., Sean Combs is sitting surrounded by his 8 lawyers who are all talking. He's looking down with his hands crossed on his lap. At 4:27 p.m., Sean Combs is rubbing his eyes with one with his thumb and the other with his index finger, like so. This is transcripts from the court. No habla English, or not, I don't speak Spanish. No habla español, sorry. Combs is sitting surrounded by his 8 lawyers who are talking to him. He's rubbing his eyes. His lawyers continue talking. And now Nicole Westmoreland to Xavier Donaldson. At 4:30 p.m., Agnifilo goes forward and then returns and hands Sean Combs a piece of paper. Combs stares at it. At 4:32 p.m., after talking to Agnifilo, Sean Combs looks down again, resting his head in his right hand. This is transcripts. This is live. This is exactly what happened in that courtroom, you guys. I am reading from Inner City Press. He is on X. Follow him to find out all the details. I'm Hawaiian, actually, David. I live in Maui. And I report on Diddy because Maui's police chief, John Pelletier, was named in a Diddy lawsuit, and Maui Police Commission did absolutely nothing about it. So I report on the Diddy trial to blast Maui police chief, which, by the way, he was, I wish it was a wig. My hair would be way easier to maintain. Anyways, by the way, in case you guys don't know this, John Pelletier was ID'd by the victim. That is why that Maui police chief is named in the lawsuit. Thank you very much. Well, these are fake lashes. Okay, let's return to Diddy. Remember, you guys want to read about it? Follow Inner City Press on X. He's there. He's typing away. Wow. 4:32 p.m. After talking, okay, he's resting his head. Now the judge speaks. He says, "We have received a note at 4:05 p.m. It reads, we have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. I am screenshotting that right now. All right. We are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors on each side. How should we respond?" So they have two conflicting people. One who says guilty, one who says not guilty. I've been saying it since the beginning. It's going to come down to this because they need to get a unanimous vote in order to find him guilty. Okay? They need to unanimously vote. I've been saying it from the beginning. That's the only reason why, if he doesn't get the RICO, is because thank you for thank you for sticking up for me. And I don't care. I don't give a shit about anybody who talks shit about me. Anyways, you don't even know who I am. I don't care about some live on YouTube of somebody who doesn't know me. Anyways, but thank you for sticking up for me. Anyways, so where was I at, you guys? By the way, they came back very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. Yes, Steven, you're absolutely right. 100% he's a pawn, 100% he was at the Las Vegas shootings. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Is it Hitch One NZ? Aloha, mahalo. So they have a person on each side. Someone who's so sure they're not guilty and someone who is so sure they're guilty. I've always said from the beginning, it's going to come down to this because they got to be unanimous about voting on the guilty verdict. So in case you guys that are just joining in, they sent in a note. They said they cannot reach a verdict on RICO because they have one person on each side, both not guilty and guilty, who are not budging. They're not budging at all. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. I cover all the Diddy trial, and we get facts. This is a man who's sitting in the trial. He's a journalist. Okay. Now comes Comey, prosecution. She says, we are preparing a modified Allen charge. What's an Allen charge? Agnifilo, he says, we propose you tell them to continue deliberating and that you not take the partial verdict. No modified Allen charge. You guys, we got to go research. I'm going to research what the Allen charge is. Judge, would the defense request I bring the jury out to say that? Agnifilo, after conferring with Combs, says yes. The judge says, okay, email me your proposals. Each side, I'll wait. I could give a modified Allen charge, or at some point I could tell them they could return a partial verdict. Email me and I will wait. Okay, then we get updated. So they're going to figure it out and they're going to, hi, I'm not a candidate. Oh, thank you. No, I will not stand up. Okay, at 4:54 p.m. in the well of the courtroom, everyone but Donaldson, Xavier Donaldson is Diddy's lawyer, is in their seat waiting. Sean Combs is leaning back, his legal cross, not sure what that means. He does not look happy. 5:01 p.m., the judge says, I have received each side's proposal. Mr. Agnifilo, your proposal, there is not much there. Interesting. Agnifilo says, we are not remotely at the place where the jury needs more to deliberate efficiently. They are remarkably efficient. They already have 4 verdicts. Judge says, I wouldn't call the government's proposal an Allen charge. It reminds the jury of the instruction I previously gave on the duty to deliberate. I could simply recite from the jury charge. So the jury charge, this is what it says. This is what he read to them yesterday. The judge read to the jurors on the charge sheet. He said, again, your verdict must be unanimous, but you are not bound to surrender your honest convictions concerning the effect or weight of the evidence for the mere purpose of returning a verdict or solely because of the opinion of other jurors. Each of you must make your own decision about the proper outcome of this case based on your consideration of the evidence and your discussions with your fellow jurors. No juror should surrender his or her conscientious beliefs for the purpose of returning a unanimous verdict. Oh my God. Oh gosh. Thank you guys. What we just read is exactly what was recited to the jurors yesterday, which basically says the judge told them, if you guys have an opinion that goes against everybody else, do not change your opinion just to get a unanimous vote. This is giving mistrial, you guys. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just strictly reading documents that is being said in the courthouse right now, literally right now. Anyways, well, this is an hour ago, but all of this is happening like in real time. Anyways, this is giving me mistrial because according to what he said, he told the jurors, don't be swayed. If you feel like you want a not guilty and everybody else wants a guilty, don't change that. Don't surrender your conscientious beliefs for the purpose of returning a unanimous verdict. That is literally what the judge said yesterday, which leaves such an open gap for a mistrial. I know I don't want a mistrial. I don't want a mistrial, obviously, but this opens the gate. So what do? Do they remove that juror? At this point, I think it's too late to bring in an alternate because they already reached a verdict on the other four. So then what? They got to bring in a new a new alternate juror, and then they have to re-talk about everything else again. Essentially, after a mistrial, cool guy, he just walks free. Essentially. They get to read. I mean, he could either be cleared and essentially he's free, or it could be like they literally have to redo everything all over again. Yes, but he walks free. But they get like a chance to redo. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuning in. Feel free to hit that like button and subscribe. I cover all the Diddy trial stuff because I live in Maui, and Maui Police Chief John Pelletier was named in a Diddy lawsuit, and the Maui Police Commission did absolutely nothing for that. Nothing for the community. If they get a mistrial, Chad, I agree. I believe that they will retry the case, and I believe they will also not have a bail. But I mean, again, he's going to be sitting there for how long? How long is he going to be sitting there for? Crazy. Okay, so next, moving forward, Agnifilo, he's back to speaking. We're not at that point yet. I'm not saying we wouldn't be at that point on Thursday, July 3rd, or on Monday. Let's wait and see. I'm putting stock in that they have reached verdicts on 4 counts. The judge says, I'm going with that, but I may give more later. I could tell them that they could return on July 3rd, and we can arrange that. What do the parties think? Prosecution. We'd like to give them the option to deliberate on the 3rd. Agnifilo. 1 second, Your Honor. Judge says yes. He probably confers. Agnifilo comes back. Our preference is that you don't tell them now about Thursday. The downside is that the jurors might feel rushed to reach a verdict to avoid the Thursday issue. Let them deliberate tomorrow, and you could ask at the end of tomorrow. So now I'm a little bit confused as to what we're deliberating on. Anyways, I'll keep reading. The judge says, so the defense would have no objection to them deliberating on July 3rd. Agnifilo says no objection if they want to. Judge says, okay, let's bring back out our jury. So I don't know what they mean about the deliberation, because I thought the only deliberation is what do they do, because there's the 2 people who don't agree. Okay, all rise. Jurors enter back in. So guys, they brought the jury back out. They're sitting the jury down. This trial is still going. It's still active. This is crazy. I never would have foresaw this. The judge says, welcome back. I received your note that you have reached verdicts on counts 2 through 5. I ask that you continue deliberating, discuss and weigh your respective opinions dispassionately. Interesting, you guys use that word dispassionately. That means take your emotions aside, try not to get crazy, don't get emotional about it, just look at the facts and try to make a decision based off of the facts and follow my instructions on the law. Judge, I asked you to return to the jury room. If you decide that you are done for the day, send me another note and I will bring you back out for the end of the day. So this was 1 hour ago. The jurors leave. The judge says everyone can go back to doing what they were doing. We have received a note. Oh, okay, never mind. Now we go, they take a break, and then now we go back down and it says, judge says, we've received a note that the jurors have concluded for today and will resume tomorrow. We'll bring them back out. Judge says, all rise. The jurors come back in. The judge says, very briefly, thank you. Tomorrow, go directly into the jury room. Keep an open mind. Do not watch or read about this case. We'll see each other tomorrow. All rise. The jurors leave. The judge then asks, hi, Eric. The judge then asks the defense and prosecution anything, to which they both say no. And now court is officially adjourned. Wow. Wow, 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 you guys. Minimum and maximum. So the charges that they reached a verdict on, the partial ones, those are the least amount of charge. They carry the least amount of sentence. Hi, Shug. Rico, they have not reached a decision. For those of you who are just tuning in now, what happened was the juror sent a note to the judge saying that they reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. They have not reached a verdict on count 1, which is the Rico charge. That is the one that carries the heaviest sentence, which is up to life in prison. Although I personally feel guilty as Diddy, I do appreciate that the jury is taking this seriously. Yes, Rico is for life. And I appreciate that the jury is taking this seriously and is not, they are weighing and they realize that they hold Diddy's life in his hands if they were to choose a guilty verdict on Rico. However, you guys, it sounds like 10 of the jurors already have a verdict. 2 of them, there's just 2 who are super strong-minded, strong-headed, that is like not budging. That is what the note said. The note said, we have reached a verdict, but there are 2 people who will not budge. And they were on both sides of the fence, guilty and not guilty. And the note says, what do we do? So, oh, hey, Kim. So basically, Kim, what happened is we know what the note said, which the note said that 2 people, they've come to a verdict for Rico. They have. But 2 people are not agreeing to it. One's very firmly on not guilty, and the other equally as firmly on guilty. And so both of them, hi, Ali. So both of them are not budging. So the note that they brought to the judge says, what do we do in this scenario? Because both of these people are not budging and are not. John, you're absolutely right. This is what you guys I've been saying from the very beginning. It's going to be a hung jury and it's going to come down to 1. They only need 1 juror who will not agree because they need to have a unanimous vote. Hi, Sarah. Hi from Florida. Aloha. Aloha from Maui. They need to have a unanimous vote for a guilty verdict in order for Diddy to be found guilty. So I've said from the beginning, even if there's just 1 person who will not agree, that can lead to a hung jury, which a hung jury will lead to a mistrial. Well, that's essentially, so what happened just now, Kim, is that basically the prosecution and the defense, the judge asked them how they want to proceed. So what they did is they brought the jurors out and they told the jurors, we want you guys to continue deliberating. Aloha, Letitia. Aloha, Madi. Sorry. Yeah, I hear that he's a celebrity, but I also don't think that really matters because there's a lot of celebrities. Look at Harvey Weinstein. Look at Harvey Weinstein's on his third trial. Look at Bill Cosby. Look at R. Kelly. Look at all these men who got away with so much sexual deviousness in the past, and now they're sitting in prison. So I still feel this can go either way. However, I've been saying from the beginning, it's the unanimous vote. They have to have a unanimous vote, and it only takes one person. Only takes one person. And in that case, what do? It's a mistrial. It's a hung jury mistrial. That's just how it's going to be. So that is what is currently happening in the Diddy trial right now. We're going to wait till tomorrow. We're going to see what comes about. But you guys, I did not expect to reach. We shall see, Frank. We shall if they get a mistrial, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be a redo. And so I did not expect them to come to a verdict by today. I really wasn't thinking we're going to have anything any sooner than Thursday. So I'm already impressed, which doesn't look good for Diddy, which, by the way, for those of you who are just tuning in, it says right there in the transcription that Diddy was literally doing this when he got the news that the note that the jury came out with a verdict. He literally was doing this. Thumb, forefinger on each eye, rubbing back and forth. They came out with the note, read the note. Well, here's why I think, Chad, he does know that the verdict is guilty. It's because, well, Friday is the 4th. No, but is that why, Mo? Is that why they were talking about Thursday? They might have to come back for deliberation because they were talking about coming on Thursday for deliberation. But this is why I think Diddy knows it's a guilty verdict, because your quantum reality, I believe it's guilty because I don't think you could come back that fast with a not guilty. You know what I'm saying? I've always been saying I'm sorry, you guys, I get allergies and I didn't take my allergy medicine this morning. So my nose is so itchy. I didn't, sorry. I've said from the beginning, if they come back with a verdict so fast, I agree they want to be done before the 4th, but if they come back with a verdict so fast, and so fast means yesterday or today, then it's an automatic guilty, period. But if they're going to have a not guilty, then that's going to take a little bit longer. That's my own. Yes, you're right, TKU. It was literally, he was like this. He was like this. And then he was resting his head. It says in the transcripts that he was also resting his hands in his head in his right hand. So, hi, Bruce Wayne. So, this is where we're going to probably leave off. You guys can let me know what you guys say. I mean, now we have a mixed bunch in here. Some say that he's not guilty. Some say he's guilty. Free Diddy. If this goes to a hung jury, if this is a mistrial, they're going to have to redo everything. They guarantee are not going to let Diddy out. They're going to hold onto him. We don't know the verdict now, Ishmael. We don't know the verdict yet. We only know that the jury has come out with a verdict for counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. They have not come back with a verdict on RICO charge. And the reason being is because there's 2 people who are not budging. So the jury wants to know what they should do about that. The judge said to just keep deliberating and to remove your emotions, put all that stuff aside, and to try to come to a conclusion by themselves. Hi, King Phil. We shall see what happens. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Chad. Thank you for tuning in. Elsa, I completely agree. Hi, German. Sorry. I completely agree with you. I think he's guilty. I think he definitely got a guilty verdict on counts 2 through 5. And they're just waiting to see if he's guilty on that RICO. Like I said, I appreciate that the jury is taking this seriously, that if they find him guilty on the RICO, that does mean a life sentence. I think that's a big deal. And I appreciate that they're taking that seriously, regardless of the fact that I think he is guilty, because we need to have faith in our justice system. Because shall either of us ever need the justice system, we want to make sure that, we have due diligence and we have justice and fairness and all the things, right? So thank you so much to everybody who's been tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. It just takes one click. Hit that subscribe. Yeah, German, I agree. # no Diddy. Amen. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Check in later. I tell you what, whenever there's breaking news, trust that I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a live. Hi, Gary. Aloha, you guys. Aloha from Maui. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys again as soon as we know. Tomorrow they'll be back. Ishmael, no, they're done for the day. They've been adjourned. Court has been adjourned. They have gone. They've left for the day. Tomorrow they're going to be back deliberating. Okay. So check back tomorrow. Aloha, you guys. Have a wonderful day. Aloha.